You won't feel it the first time it happens. A tiny hesitation, a faint vibration. But when it does, it's already too late. Your transmission's dying, and you don't even know it yet. What if I told you there are early warnings your car is screaming right now, but you're just not hearing them? Ignore these signs, and you'll be staring at a $5,000 repair that could have been stopped with a $50 fix. Today, we're breaking down 7 hidden transmission warnings mechanics never tell you about, the ones that quietly destroy your car from the inside out. If you've ever felt your car slip, jerk, or hum in a way you can't explain, this video could literally save your transmission. Let's start with the one that looks harmless, but kills faster than any other. Let's dive in. The silent killer beneath your hood. It starts small. A faint hesitation, a soft hum, maybe a slight vibration through the steering wheel. Easy to ignore. Harmless, you tell yourself. But deep inside your transmission, something's changing. Pressure drops, friction builds, and what feels like nothing is actually the first whisper of a mechanical breakdown. That subtle vibration? It's your car trying to speak, warning you that something beneath the hood is no longer working in harmony. Ignore it, and that quiet tremor becomes the sound of a system tearing itself apart, one shift at a time. Before long, smooth gear changes turn harsh. Fluid darkens, heat builds, and a once healthy transmission begins its slow decline toward failure. And the first visible clue that proves it's already begun, a strange, milky pink fluid hiding right under your hood. 2. The strawberry milkshake catastrophe. Pop your hood and pull out the dipstick. If what you see looks like pink milk or a melted strawberry shake, your transmission isn't thirsty, it's drowning. That frothy pink mix means coolant has invaded your transmission fluid through a cracked radiator cooler. And the moment that happens, the chemistry inside turns deadly. Automatic transmission clutches are made with materials designed for precision friction. Too little and they slip, too much and they shred. When coolant seeps in, it changes that friction balance entirely. The linings soak up water, lose their grip, and your once smooth gear changes turn into jerky, uneven shifts. Inside, the torque converter churns that pink froth like a blender. It circulates through valves, solenoids, and seals. Everywhere it touches, it destroys. Mechanics call it the death spiral. Slip causes heat. Heat ruins fluid. Ruined fluid causes more slip. Toyota and Nissan drivers even gave this disaster a nickname: the strawberry milkshake of death. A pink dipstick or a coolant tank that looks like a melted shake are your only clues before the whole gearbox eats itself alive. Catch it early, flush both systems, and replace the radiator cooler. Wait too long, and you're looking at a rebuild that costs more than most used cars. But sometimes, the warning doesn't show in color. It vibrates through your seat. 3. Rumble strip vibration. The hidden converter war. You're cruising around 40 to 50 miles per hour when suddenly the car buzzes, almost like you rolled over a rumble strip. Then it smooths out again. That's not your tires. That's your torque converter clutch slipping in and out of engagement hundreds of times a second. Inside the converter, a small clutch locks the engine and transmission together for better efficiency. But when the fluid is worn, dirty, or the wrong type, the friction surface starts to fight itself. It grabs, slips, grabs again, creating that unsettling vibration. There's an easy test most drivers don't know. Keep your speed steady when the vibration starts, then lightly tap the brake. The moment you touch it, the converter unlocks. If the shutter instantly disappears, you've just diagnosed a torque converter clutch issue. Ignore it and the damage snowballs. The clutch lining sheds debris, pressures spike, and heat builds fast. That heat can destroy a healthy transmission in months. The cure? Sometimes it's as simple as replacing the fluid with the correct updated formula. Even General Motors solved its notorious 8-speed shutter with nothing more than a fluid upgrade. If your car feels like it's driving over invisible rumble strips, don't shrug it off. It's the sound of your transmission fighting itself. And while vibrations are scary, the next warning sign is even more urgent, because your car literally lights up in panic. 4. The heat light most drivers ignore. That tiny AT oil temp or transmission temp light isn't just a friendly dash glow. It's your car screaming, "I'm overheating. Stop now." Automatic transmissions live and die by temperature. The fluid inside is engineered to perform best around 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Every 20 degrees above that cuts fluid life roughly in half. At 220 degrees Fahrenheit, varnish starts to form. At 240 degrees Fahrenheit, seals harden. Hit 280 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're basically baking your transmission from the inside out. Think of it like your brakes. Friction generates heat. But unlike brakes, the transmission never gets a break. Every gear change, every climb, every toe adds more heat. When that warning light appears, the control module is trying to save you. It might pull engine power, delay shifting, or even force the car into limp mode just to survive. But most drivers ignore it, thinking it's a glitch. It's not. It's your one mercy signal before silent damage becomes permanent. Pull over, let it cool, and service the fluid as soon as possible. Sometimes, that simple act can add years to your transmission's life. Because when that light turns off, it doesn't mean the problem's gone. It just means the system gave up warning you. 5. Limp mode. When your car fights back, imagine this. You press the gas, but your car barely moves. The engine revs, yet the transmission refuses to shift. It feels broken, but it's actually saving itself. That's limp mode, your car's built-in self-defense system. When the transmission computer detects something dangerous, like wrong pressures, low fluid, or sensor failure, it locks the car into one low gear so it can limp home safely without burning itself up. It's basically a survival strategy. The gearbox keeps enough pressure and cooling to stay alive, sacrificing performance for protection. But here's the mistake most people make. They keep driving. They push it harder, forcing a system that's already wounded to keep fighting. That's like sprinting on a broken leg. The fix is often simple: a bad sensor, a clogged filter, or a fluid swap. But drive it long in limp mode, and you'll turn a $200 problem into a $4,000 rebuild. When your car refuses to shift, it's not being stubborn, it's begging for mercy. Respect that signal, and you might save it from total failure. And sometimes, the next sign doesn't come from inside the transmission at all. It shows up on your driveway. 6. The pink puddle and delayed shifts. You park overnight, then spot a small red or pink puddle near the front bumper. Most people think coolant leak, but transmission fluid can look the same, and that's a problem. Transmission fluid isn't just lubrication, it's also hydraulic pressure and cooling. Lose enough and the system starves. Pressure drops, clutches slip, and heat skyrockets. In minutes, a small leak becomes a big failure. Here's the difference. Coolant dries chalky. ATF stays slick and oily. If you see that puddle, check the dipstick. Foamy, cloudy, or low fluid means you're bleeding pressure, and your transmission's losing its grip. You might also notice delayed upshifts. The RPMs rise, then finally catch. That's another classic sign of low pressure or oxidized fluid. The computer might even log a gear ratio error code, meaning what it commanded doesn't match what it got. This is where you can still save it cheap, fix the leak, replace the fluid, and reprogram the transmission control module. Ignore it, and scorch clutches will turn that late shift into a full rebuild. A $20 bottle of fluid today or a $6,000 transmission tomorrow. Your call. And if the pink stain and slow shifts weren't warning enough, the next stage is impossible to miss, because you'll feel it every time you hit the gas. The final warnings: jerks, codes, and slipping away. At first, it's a small lurch when you take off. The car hesitates, then jerks forward. You might think it's your foot or a dirty throttle body, but it's actually your transmission catching up late. Inside the valve body, tiny passages route fluid to engage clutches in milliseconds. When varnish builds up or fluid thins from heat, that timing breaks down. The clutch slips, then suddenly grabs. That's the bump you feel. Sometimes, the car's computer already knows something's wrong before you do. A check engine light might pop up with codes like P0741 or P0730, the transmission's way of saying, "Hey, I told the clutch to grab, but it didn't." Ignore those early codes and the slipping gets worse. Hot fluid loses viscosity, pressure fades, and the clutches start burning. Soon, you'll notice the RPMs rising, but the car barely moving. The classic rubber band effect. And if you catch a faint burnt smell after parking, that's friction material literally cooking in your transmission. At this point, every drive is doing damage. A quick fluid service, valve repair, or pressure test could still save it, but keep driving, and you're writing a check for several $1,000s. The truth is simple. Heat is the killer, chemistry is the weapon, and attention is your only defense. Check your fluid monthly. Watch for vibrations, warning lights, and those tiny leaks. Your transmission never fails overnight. It whispers its way toward destruction. You just have to listen. And if you want to keep your car running smooth for years, don't stop here. In the next video, I'll show you 10 cheap upgrades that instantly improve performance and extend your transmission's life, including one under $30 trick mechanics swear by. So hit subscribe, stay smart, and keep your transmission and your wallet alive.